India is home to 1.4 billion people, so the health of Indians matters not only for India, of course, but for global health overall. At this moment in our history, India is at a pivotal point in her journey towards universal health coverage, which really sits at the heart of the Viksit Bharat vision to become a developed nation by 2047, 100 years from India's independence. With strong political will and steady economic growth, there's a real opportunity here for India maybe even to leap forward to a health system that's universal, citizen-centered, powered by India's technological prowess. One where high-quality care isn't defined by your social class, your wealth, or where you live. The Lancet Commission on a Citizen-Centered Health System for India was launched in 2020 to realize this vision of Viksit Bharat by identifying the health system reforms needed to advance universal healthcare.
Realizing a vision for universal health coverage for a fifth of the world's population, spread across a formidable range of contexts, required examining the health system through diverse perspectives. We organize ourselves around 5 pillars: human resources, financing, technology, governance, and citizens' engagement, each of which generated research questions. We then designed studies to address these questions. We conducted theory of change workshops and interviews with key informants. We carried out a nationally representative survey of 50,000 households to understand people's experiences of and expectations from the health system. We conducted reviews of the literature, developed a metric to assess the progress of a district towards universal health coverage, modeled funding requirements, analyzed India's legal and regulatory landscape, and harnessed a range of secondary data. Ultimately, we assembled the most comprehensive set of data to analyze the achievements and challenges faced by India's health system and identify the reforms needed to achieve a citizen-centered health system.
India's first steps towards UHC began around her independence in 1947. The Bharat Committee envisioned a tax-funded system built on strong primary care. But insufficient government funds during those early years resulted in a focus on hospitals and vertebral programs, leading to a fragmented, disease-specific structure. The journey to UHC was catalyzed in the early 2000s when national reforms shifted attention back to primary care, decentralization, and community engagement. Recent initiatives have accelerated this process. Alongside the multi-tiered architecture of India's public health delivery system, a highly heterogeneous private sector has also flourished. There is no formal gatekeeping, so people can enter either system at any point in their illness, with little coordination between sectors or levels of care. Financing comes mostly from government budgets or out-of-pocket spending, and voluntary insurance plays a relatively small role. Governance is shared across a range of agencies operating at different levels from the center to local bodies, and citizens engage with the system, leveraging long-standing traditions of community participation for health.
India's journey towards universal health coverage is a story of commendable progress, but also persistent challenges. Average life expectancy has doubled since independence, but these gains have been uneven. Non-communicable diseases and urbanization are creating new challenges. Coverage of safe childbirth is expanded, but access to secondary, surgical, critical, and long-term care remains highly variable. Outside of vaccinations, there is very little preventive care. There are wide variations in clinical standards and overuse of unnecessary drugs. Costs remain catastrophic for many, with the poorest households being the most affected.
So what will it actually take for India to achieve universal health coverage? Our Commission's clarion call is for a publicly financed and publicly provided healthcare delivery system built upon a strong foundation of comprehensive primary healthcare. We call for meaningful citizens' engagement, for example, through strengthening community platforms and ensuring people know about their entitlements and can monitor the quality of services. We identified the need for specific reforms in financing of the public sector, For example, more public spending, smarter pooling, and strategic purchasing. We see an opportunity to bring the private sector to align with universal health coverage through thoughtful incentives, regulated competition, and improved insurance design. We recognize the catalytic role of technology, from digital platforms to advances in biotechnology and AI, to transform healthcare. We recognize the critical role of governance by decentralizing decision-making, enforcing regulation, and empowering community institutions. And finally, we argue for a learning health system, one that continuously tests, learns, and adapts.
To realize the vision of Viksit Bharat, that is, to achieve the status of a developed nation by 2045, marking 100 years of our freedom, India must invest in her health system, innovate boldly, and keep every reform responsive to her citizens' right to health. With strong political commitment and active engagement of people across this diverse country, India can ensure that her future prosperity is anchored in a health system that is resilient, inclusive, and truly citizen-centered.